everyone, this is Sushmita speaking to you all. In this video, we are going to see about creative writers and daydreamers, which is a theory which is written by Sigmund Freud. And this particular theory, it's been published in the year 1908. Please note this for your one word. To talk about this particular theory, the importance of the theory, this particular theory states the psychological perspective of the individual. How being an individual, you'll have your own fantasy, you'll have your own dreams, right? So the author connects them to the creative writers, he connects to the author's life and how he thinks and how he generates material and how her normal human things in her dreams and fantasies, and these are all interconnected and depicted in this theory. And to talk about the justification of the title, which is very important in your essay answers. So to justify this particular title, if you see creative writers, which signifies, which represents the authors, daydreaming represents to the human, normal human, how common human it refers to. So it represents both the author and the normal human. So this kind of depiction is being showed by the author over here. And this particular theory starts with the question asked by Cardinal Ippolito di Esta. So this particular person asks the poet Aristo that how do you find so many stories, and where did you generate so many materials, and how did you turn up to impress the common people, and how you arouse the emotions and feelings. So this is a question which has been put forth by a person called Cardinal to the poet called Aristo. So just note this for your one words. And here the author states that to them every man is a poet at heart. So we, being a human, being an individual, we will have our own dreams, our own fantasies, right? So he connects them. If you are a fantasy, if you have dreams, and even you are an author, he says. So that is how a author generally thinks when a concept arises in his or her mind. And if you see here creativity of a child, we can see that if you leave your child in some time in maybe in a floor, what he or she will do, the child will pick up whatever it comes to his hand and start playing, right? It creates its own world, right? So the creativity of a child is around him or her, right? So that is what the author wanted to say. For example, if you give any of the substance that you cook, right? So it starts to create a world, and even if you don't engage your child, what the child will do, it creates its own world and it starts to live, right? So that is what the depiction is all about. And this is what is being stated over here. When the child grows up, we can see that the child stops to play, right? And he carries his own world into the world of fantasies. Fantasies arrives only when you have desires, like you're not even, you're suppressing your desires, you're suppressing your wishes, you're suppressing everything, then fantasy world will be created within yourself. That is what the author is trying to say all about. And then he says that the growing child stops playing but begins to fantasy. So this is more important, and even you can note for your one word. And then the adult, being an adult, you don't even share your fantasies that you have within yourself, right? And you might feel ashamed that whether if I say, whether people would think this, right? So that is what the author is also pointing out. For example, if you're not well and if you're going to the psychological doctor for some reasons, for some mind disturbance, then what does the doctor points out? He points out about your wishes, your desires, your fantasies, right? So that is what it may affect your mental illness as well, right? So you should not have, it's not that you should not have your fantasies, you can have your fantasies, but it is more necessary that you bring it into the real world if you can apply it to your real world. And Then you can see the characteristics of fantasies. There are a happy person never fantasies. Like if a person is very happy, he or she will never fantasies, it seems. And if an unsatisfied person, like if you have any desires or any feelings, any suppressions that is going on into the mind, then the fantasy world starts to grow, it seems. And here the author has split it into two groups. One is ambitious wishes, and the second is erotic wishes. So ambitious wishes is that you might be goal oriented person, you might be running for your aims, right? So that are called ambitious wishes, whereas erotic wishes are the feelings, the sexual erosion, right? So that kind of depiction, that kind of split is being given by the author over here. He also says that a young woman, a well brought up young woman, is only allowed a minimum of erotic desires. A young man has to suppress the excess of self-regard. So that is what it is being stated over here. The hero of psychological novels and eccentric novels. So when you observed the lot of novels, you would have seen that a hero would have been very silent and observing and using his brain and coming out solving problems, right? And you can see another character of heroes were depicting the ego attitude and all, right? So there are two kind of depictions of the heroes in the novels, and this particular eccentric character can be seen in Emily Zola's works, right? So that is what the author is trying to say. And the relationship to fantasies time, like he is connecting all the fantasies to time, because the past, present, whatever happened in the past, you might it might happen in the present, or whatever it was there in your fantasies, it might happen in the future. So that is what he is meaning. It is a thread of the wishes that run through them. So all the future are being strung together, he says. And he says that it is being all your present, past, future are being strung together. And he also gives an example, a beautiful example, where he states that if you give a young orphan poor boy just an employer's address, what will the orphan boy think on the way of traveling? So that is what the depiction is all about. And on his way, he might think that he'll get job, and what else he might think? He'll get job, he'll be an employer, he'll be a businessman, he'll marry his younger daughter, he'll be the director of the business, and all such fantasies will run, right? So all these fantasies will be generated because he's having a desire to have a house and parents in that house, because he's an orphan. So all that created this kind of desire. Next, we can see that the relationship between fantasies and dreams. Fantasies are some things when you have a desire, you have a aim which you are suppressing within yourselves, then the fantasies arrives, right? For example, he gave a good example of a old orphan, right? So that kind of fantasies arises only when you suppress your feelings. And dreams are nothing but the dream that you do in night, right? For example, for certain, no, your dreams for next day, if you wake up and you'll forget your dreams, right? So that is what the author is differentiating between fantasies and dreams. Dreams are something like it comes and goes for a while, and it can, even you don't remember of the dreams, right? So that is what the author is pointing out over here. And creative writer, he talks about the creative writer and the daydreamer as well. And he tells that there are two type of writer. You just noted for your 2 mark at least. And there are two type of writer. One who originates the material their own, like for example, he creates his own material, he generates this newly, and he doesn't even take a copy of the old ones. And the other writer is he gets a material, ready-made material from others. So these are the two type of writers as well. All the heroes in the first chapter might be shown happily, and in the end, like in the in between, he would have met with the accident, and in the next chapter, like in the end of the chapter, be the recovery of the hero, and in the next chapter, like all that like processes, like how her hero travels with the ego attitude, with the sufferings, like all that depiction will be there with the Narcils in the fantasies world, and the author is depicting using language. So that is what he wanted to portray. And in novels we can see that bad ones and good ones also, right? We can choose which is a bad character, good character, right? All these contrasts are up to a author's perspective. The main focus of this particular author was to convey fantasies would arrive only when we suppress ourselves, and every individual is a poet at heart. Even we will have our own fantasies and dreams, right? So all that is a material for a person to write a particular concept. So that is what he is trying to give in this particular creative writers and daydreamers. If you want same kind of material, please do visit the Pinterest ID. And if you want more kind of videos, or if you want to comment, please do check the Instagram and comment, or you can just comment below. And please like, share, comment and subscribe to our Come Let's Learn with Sushmita.